We all know the story. We hear it in songs, see it in movies, and tell it to our kids by the fire. It's a story of twinkling lights, generosity, and a jolly man in a red suit who travels the world in a single night. It's the story of Christmas. But that's not the only story. For much of history, in many corners of the world, the holiday season wasn't just about joy and cheer. It was about fear. The deal is simple. Be good, and Santa Claus will bring you gifts. But what if I told you that in many cultures, the reward for being nice isn't a present, it's survival? Forget a lump of coal. In the shadows of Christmas, the penalty for misbehaving might be getting beaten, boiled, or eaten. Tonight, we forget Santa, and we meet the Christmas monsters. Long before Christmas was commercialized, the longest, coldest nights of the year were a time when ancient fears crept out of the forests and mountains. These weren't just ghost stories. They were cautionary tales meant to scare kids into behaving and encourage adults to work hard. These legends warned that if you were lazy or disobedient, you didn't have to worry about a piece of coal. You had to worry about a visit from a creature carrying birch rods, a rusty chain, or an empty pot, hungry for its next meal. So let's journey into the chilling folklore of the holiday season and uncover the terrifying figures who walk in the shadow of St. Nicholas. From a demonic goat man stalking the Alps to a skeletal horse that challenges you to a poetry slam at your front door, these are the original enforcers of Christmas. Our journey begins in the snow-dusted alpine regions of Central Europe. In places like Austria and parts of Germany like Bavaria, with the poster child for festive fear, Krampus. Historic traditions embraced a stark duality. Where there is light, there must be shadow. Where there is reward, there must be punishment. And so where you find St. Nicholas, you also find Krampus. According to legend, on the evening of December 5th, a night known as Krampusnacht, this creature emerges. While St. Nicholas prepares to leave gifts for well-behaved children, his counterpart is already on the prowl for the naughty ones. So, what exactly is Krampus? His name likely comes from the German word Krampen, meaning claw, and the description of him is pure nightmare fuel. He's a terrifying mix of beast and demon, covered in dark, shaggy fur, with the cloven hooves and curling horns of a goat. His face is a grotesque mask, with wild eyes and a long, pointed tongue lolling from a fanged mouth. You can hear him coming from the ominous clanking of heavy chains and rusted cowbells he rattles to announce his presence. But it's what he carries that strikes fear into children. In one hand, he holds a bundle of birch branches for swatting kids who misbehaved. In some versions of the legend, it gets worse. Slung over his back is a large sack or a basket, not for toys, but for kidnapping the truly wicked children. He drags them off to his lair, which some say is hell itself, to be tortured or even eaten. On the morning of December 6th, good children wake up to find treats in their shoes. If the naughty children are lucky, they just have bruises. The origins of Krampus are older than Christmas itself. likely starting as a figure in pre-Christian winter solstice rituals. Some modern theories even link him to Norse mythology, speculating that he could be the son of Hel, the goddess of the underworld. When Christianity spread through Europe, the church tried to stamp out figures like Krampus, viewing his demonic appearance as an affront. These traditions were heavily suppressed, and masquerading as a devil was a serious offense. But the legend was too deeply ingrained in Alpine culture to disappear. Instead, he was absorbed into Christian festivities, repurposed as the enforcer for Saint Nicholas, a necessary evil to balance the saint's kindness. He became a walking cautionary tale for parents, and it worked. There are historical accounts describing how encounters with Krampus figures terrified children into promising they'd be better. In modern times, Krampus has seen a massive resurgence. In towns across Austria and Germany, the tradition of the Krampuslauf, or Krampus Run, has been revived. These aren't quaint holiday parades. Young men wear elaborate, genuinely terrifying hand-carved wooden masks and fur suits, running through the streets as a horde of Krampuses, chasing and swatting at spectators in a chaotic spectacle. Some see this revival as a rebellion against the over-commercialization of Christmas, a way to reconnect with the holiday's darker, more primal roots. Krampus reminds us that Christmas wasn't always about comfortable consumption. It was about reckoning with the darkness of winter and hoping you had been good enough to survive it. If a switch-wielding demon sounds harsh, our next stop makes Krampus look like a pleasant houseguest. We travel now to the wind-swept, volcanic landscapes of Iceland, where we meet Grýla. Grýla is no mere holiday prankster. She is a monstrous giantess, a terrifying figure from Icelandic folklore, mentioned in texts from as early as the 13th century. She is a hideous troll who lives in a remote mountain cave, embodying the very real fears of starvation and disappearance during the brutal Icelandic winter. And her favorite food is a stew made from the flesh of naughty children. Folklore says Grýla can detect misbehaving children all year long. As Christmas approaches, she descends from her lair with a huge sack to hunt for them. She snatches up disobedient kids, stuffs them in her sack, and carries them back to her cave, where she boils them alive for her holiday feast. The legend is brutally specific. She isn't just punishing children, she's harvesting them for dinner. Grimly, the stories add that Grýla never has a shortage of food. But Grýla doesn't hunt alone. She's the matriarch of a whole family of terrors. Her husband, Lwyd, is a lazy troll who mostly stays home. But she is also the mother of the 13 Yule lads. Today, the Yule lads are often seen as quirky pranksters, Iceland's version of Santa's elves. Each one visits homes on the 13 nights leading up to Christmas. Children leave a shoe on the windowsill. If they've been good, they get a small gift. If they've been bad, they get a rotten potato. The lads have names that describe their specific mischief. Sheepcoat Clod, who bothers sheep, Spoon Licker, Pot Licker, Door Slammer, and Window Peeper. This playful version, however, is a modern update. In older folklore, the Yule lads were menacing figures, much like their mother. They stole from people and terrorized them. While not all old tales explicitly state they kidnapped children for their mother's stew, that idea became a powerful part of their menacing legacy. The stories became so terrifying that in 1746, a public decree was issued to discourage parents from using tales of Grýla and the Yule lads to frighten their children. Grýla's story reflects the Icelandic relationship with its harsh environment. In a land of volcanoes, brutal winters, and isolation, life was precarious. The fear of starvation was real, and the danger of a child wandering off in a blizzard was ever present. Grýla gave a face to these anxieties. The command to be good wasn't just a moral lesson, it was a lesson in survival. Don't wander off, don't be lazy, help out around the house, or Grýla will get you. Today, Grýla is still a central figure in Icelandic Christmas, though in a toned-down form. But her legend endures as a chilling reminder of a time when Christmas wasn't about what you might get, but about who might get you. And she has one more monstrous family member, a pet with a very specific purpose. Staying in Iceland, we meet the final member of Grýla's household. Her pet, a monstrous creature known as Jólakötturinn, the Yule Cat. This is no cuddly kitten. The Yule Cat is a gigantic, ferocious black cat, as tall as the tallest houses. It prowls the countryside at Christmas time, its blazing eyes peering into windows, searching for its victims. And its criteria are bizarrely specific. The Yule Cat devours anyone, child or adult, who hasn't received new clothes to wear before Christmas Eve. The legend is as stark as the Icelandic winter. If you aren't wearing at least one new item of clothing, even just a pair of socks, you aren't safe. The great cat will see you. In some versions, the cat simply eats your Christmas dinner, a terrible fate when food is scarce. But in the most common telling, it eats you. This monster doesn't care if you've been naughty or nice. It only cares if you're poorly dressed. Like Grýla, the Yule Cat legend has practical origins. For centuries, wool was the lifeblood of the Icelandic economy. The autumn was a crucial time when the year's wool had to be processed. This was a massive effort, and everyone on the farm, including children, was expected to help. To incentivize this work, farm owners would reward workers who finished their tasks before Christmas with new clothes. Getting new clothes was a sign of your hard work. Those who were lazy got nothing. The Yule Cat emerged as a terrifying motivator. The threat wasn't just shame. It was being eaten by a giant monster cat. It was a grim but effective way to ensure that everyone pulled their weight for the community to survive the winter. The first clear written mentions of the Yule Cat appear in the 19th century, though some speculate its oral tradition could be much older. The creature was popularized in the 20th century by the Icelandic poet Jóhannes úr Kötlum, who painted a vivid and frightening picture of the beast, cementing its place in Icelandic Christmas horror. The cat's connection to Grýla and the Yule lads likely came later, as storytellers wove Iceland's Christmas monsters into a single, terrifying family. It makes a certain kind of horrifying sense. The ogress who eats naughty children has a pet cat that eats lazy people. Today, a massive illuminated statue of the Yule Cat is often erected in downtown Reykjavik during Christmas. It's a popular attraction and a nod to one of the country's most unsettling pieces of folklore. A reminder that the coziness of Christmas was once earned through hard work under the watchful, hungry eyes of a monstrous cat. We return now to the alpine regions of Austria and Bavaria, the same territory stalked by Krampus. But here, we meet a spirit of unsettling duality, one who brings both gifts and gore. She is a witch, a goddess, and a ghost of midwinter. Her name is Frau Perchta, but she's better known by her terrifying nickname, the Belly-Slitter. Frau Perchta is said to roam the countryside during the 12 days of Christmas. She has two forms. To the good and hard-working, she may appear as a beautiful, white-robed woman. To these deserving souls, she is benevolent, leaving a small silver coin as a reward. But it's her other form that lands her on our list. To the lazy and dishonest, Frau Perchta appears as a haggard old crone with a face wrinkled and worn, often with an iron nose and dressed in rags, and hidden beneath her skirt, she carries a long, sharp knife. Her punishment for the wicked is one of the most grotesque in all of holiday folklore. If she finds that you have been lazy, your house is a mess, or you broke a holiday taboo, like spinning flax on a holy day, she will find you. She'll sneak into your home and use her knife to slit open your belly. Then, she rips out your organs and stuffs the empty cavity with garbage, straw, and rocks. In some tales, she was particularly concerned with holiday meals. Tradition dictated a special meal, often fish and porridge, be eaten on her feast day. If you ate something else, she might slit open your stomach just to see what you had consumed. Like Krampus, Frau Perchta is believed to be a pre-Christian figure, possibly an evolution of an ancient alpine goddess who guarded social rules and was connected to spinning and weaving. When Christianity arrived, missionaries demonized her, twisting her role as a guardian into that of a malevolent witch. Her punishments were made more horrific to fit a narrative of divine retribution. Perchta was also sometimes said to lead the wild hunt, a ghostly procession flying through the winter sky. She would be accompanied by an army of demonic minions known as the Perchtan. These creatures came in two forms that mirrored their mistress: the Schön Perchtan, or beautiful Perchtan, who brought luck, and the Schiach Perchtan, or ugly Perchtan, whose purpose was to drive away evil winter spirits. To this day, the tradition of the Perchtenlauf, or Perchten Run, continues in the Alps. Men in elaborate masks representing both the beautiful and the ugly Perchten parade through the streets in a noisy ritual meant to scare away the darkness. It's a festival celebrating Frau Perchta in all her duality, as a bringer of blessings and a dispenser of horrifying punishment. She is the ultimate, terrifying domestic goddess, and you do not want to be on her bad side. For our final monster, we travel to the mist-shrouded hills of Wales. Here, we find a tradition that's less about violence and more about psychological dread. The Merry Lwyd, or the Grey Mare. Imagine a cold winter's night. You hear a knock at the door, followed by singing. But when you look outside, you see a ghastly spectral figure. It's a real horse's skull, mounted on a pole and held by a person hidden under a white sheet. Its jaw is rigged to snap with a loud clack. Its eyes are gleaming glass baubles, giving it an eerie glow. This skeletal horse, draped in colorful ribbons and bells, is the Merry Lwyd. The Merry Lwyd travels with a party of wassailers. They go from house to house and stop at each door to initiate a ritual. They demand entry, but first, they have to win it. What follows is a battle of wits known as a ponko, an improvised, rhyming poetry slam between the group outside and the people inside. The Merry Lwyd party sings a verse demanding to be let in. The residents must then respond with a clever, rhyming verse of their own, refusing. This witty back and forth can last for a long time. Traditionally, if the people inside win, the Merry Lwyd must leave. But that rarely happened. Why? Because allowing the spectral horse into your home was believed to bring good luck for the coming year. So, the residents would almost always intentionally lose the battle. Once inside, the party floods into the house. The Merry Lwyd becomes a chaotic force of nature, snapping its jaws and playfully chasing the occupants. The group sings more songs and is given food and drink before moving on to the next house. The origins of the Merry Lwyd are mysterious, but they are widely believed to have ancient pre-Christian roots. The name itself is thought to mean gray mare, a link to Celtic mythology, where white or gray horses were seen as supernatural beings that could cross between worlds. Other theories suggest the name could be a corruption of Holy Mary, possibly linking it to the nativity story. But the pagan horse symbolism is a strong contender. The Merry Lwyd is a different kind of Christmas monster. It doesn't threaten to eat or disembowel you. Instead, it brings a blend of festive cheer and supernatural dread right to your front door. It's a performance, a challenge, and a communal ritual. It represents the invasion of the wild and the otherworldly into the home, a force that must be appeased with wit and hospitality to ensure a prosperous future. The twinkling lights and cheerful carols paint a picture of Christmas that is uniformly bright. But that's only one side of the story. For every gift-giving saint, there's a switch-wielding demon. For every reward, a gruesome punishment. Krampus, Grýla, the Yule Cat, Frau Perchta, and the Merry Lwyd are more than just bogeymen. They are cultural artifacts, windows into the past that reveal the anxieties of the people who created them. They represent the fear of the dark, the real threat of starvation, and the need for social order in a harsh world. These monsters remind us that the winter solstice has always been a time of duality, a celebration of light's return at the moment of deepest darkness. By forgetting them, we lose a vital part of the holiday's rich and complex history. Are there any Christmas monsters from your local folklore that we missed? Let us know in the comments below. And as you decorate your tree this year, maybe spare a thought for the creatures that lurk in the shadows. Remember that for centuries, the greatest gift you could hope for at Christmas wasn't a toy, but simply making it through the long, dark night.